For those that didn't know, I was temporarily banned from Crucible and restricted from matchmaking against other players, which also meant I could not play Gambit. Not that I really wanted to, anyways, just thought it was an observation worth noting. Their shadow ban mechanisms aren't necessarily new, but rather they have changed the functionality of what being shadow banned actually meant. Hold that thought as I will expand on that a little later. But right now, I want to question the integrity of their cheat anti measures and how they process player reports. I'm not sure how large Bungie's security team is, but regardless, I'm sure they get countless player reports, and it's unreasonable to assume that they have to look through all of them. So it's also natural to assume that they have an automated system that weeds out the unimportant in game reports and only bring attention to the important ones, such as cheating, malicious behavior, maybe even bad connections. I don't know. Depends on what's quote unquote important to them. All this to say, it's reasonable to assume that there can be false positives because we all make mistakes. We're only human after all. Which I would generally agree with in the case that a human is actually reviewing these reports that are flagged. Remember when I mentioned an automated system? Yeah, your assumptions are likely accurate. It's almost essentially the same way Call of Duty's autonomous discipline system functions. You get reported too many times and your account gets flagged and automatically shadow banned. Difference is that Bungie at least tells you how long your restrictions are, where in COD, it's kind of ambiguous and you don't really know. Supposedly a human is looking over these and then decides whether or not to fire the trigger, but with how things have been carrying on, with many legitimate players, as well as known PvP streamers getting suspensions left and right, including myself, I am not convinced in the slightest that people are checking these reports. I'm sorry. At most, somebody probably looks at a report and sees the reason an account was flagged with the buzzwords cheating and probably gives a restriction without really investigating it. So if somebody really wanted to, they could get a group of goons together and spam report you until a punishment occurs. I have only gotten 1 week so far, but if I receive more reports, my next restriction could be weeks or months, and repeat offenses after that will likely restrict me permanently from PvP. I know a handful of players who have been restricted for months on end, and there is one who was permanently restricted from matchmaking against players. Let's say you are innocent, right? And you want to appeal to attempt to lift your suspension. The problem is that you have to admit guilt to something because there is no I'm innocent option or an I don't know option. It's a pretty garbage appeal system. On one hand, I could see why they did this. After all, cheaters are pathological liars and will likely never admit to doing it. On the other hand, it's interesting that there is no other option to guess why you might have gotten suspended or banned. As for the appeal process, unless you are some big streamer or content creator who can pressure Bungie to respond and at least acquire clarity on your punishment, that's the best case scenario. You can assume you will get no response, unless you meet the criteria of being some big streamer or content creator. To the common gamer who happens to be exceptional at PvP and gets suspended, you're pretty much at the mercy of Bungie. That is the unfortunate reality. Common gamers do not get the privilege of community backing to apply pressure on the security team to respond. So Bungie is not only doing the bare minimum to protect the integrity of the PvP space, but strong legitimate PvP players are now targets. All this to say, closet cheating and blatantly cheating are normalized in the PvP space so much, and dare I say even glamorized. For those who play Destiny 2, ask yourself if there is a real punishment for breaking the code of conduct by cheating and getting banned. Short answer, no. Long answer with nuance, maybe? It's a shame that yes isn't the clear, confident answer to both of these. If you are blatantly cheating, the worst thing that happens is that you get banned and you either make a new account or buy one for cheap and get right back to it again. But right now, it's the best time than ever because you can instantly boost your power level to the max, which is 1810 as of the recording of this. I mentioned power level because most cheaters are causing chaos in Trials of Osiris, where it actually matters, since it's the in-game PvP activity where your power level is taken into account and has the best reward structure in PvP for playing it. Folks are doing boosting services while cheating, so the monetary incentive is why there is no real consequence. If the reward of the crime outweighs the punishment, why would you not keep committing the said crime? And this assumes that the perpetrators in question are blatantly cheating and not caring at all. What about those that are cheating behind closed doors where it's substantially harder to spot? Give off the impression of a good PvP player with good game sense and movement, and most people will likely never question the authenticity of your gameplay. You would essentially fly under the radar. I think the irony in all of this about my suspension is that I was able to predict on stream that it would happen the day before I got suspended. Oh yeah, can't you get spam reported and get banned now? I might have to be careful, you know what I'm saying? My days might be numbered. After I got suspended, a handful of folks suggested to me this running theory they had about the game's matchmaking algorithms. So what they're saying is that if you defy the algorithm too many times, you get punished. I was supposed to play at a certain kill-death ratio, and I was supposed to lose some of these games, but I played exceptionally well despite the lopsided team balancing against me. I don't know what goes on under the hood, but considering that Bungie was under Activision quite some time ago, it would not be too much of a reach to assume they have adopted some new algorithmic tricks. All this to say, I navigate the game under the same rules that everyone else does and broke no rules, and the game's security mechanism still suggests that I am augmenting my skill or using automation of some sort. If I was actually cheating, I would have been banned hundreds of times over. From the countless number of accusations I've acquired on my Steam profile of skillless granddads accusating me, to my account generating so many reports that at one point I was the 4th most reported player for cheating. And that's how one of the Bungie devs discovered my stream. Not to mention that I also have way too many hours in PvP to not have gotten caught eventually. According to their restriction and banning policies, Bungie should not punish a player for simply playing the game. What happened to me and many other PvP players proves that this is simply not true. Out of genuine concern, I want to ask Bungie, what message are you sending to your players when actual cheaters are allowed to roam the PvP spaces while the legitimate players are innocently punished? I played Trials and ran into this player in particular, and I bet you money that they are still unpunished, able to play. Sliding left. Dude. Yep, we lost. I told you, these cheaters. We lost. We lost. Right side, right side. There's a sniper right side. Yeah, he's cheating. He's cheating. He's cheating. It's all good, though. It's all good. Maybe that's why he's running Lion Ramparts. He's just hipfire sniping from across the map. Oh, he's on the left. I'm dead. And but as I said earlier, there is no punishment for these kinds of players because they can just make a new account for free and get back to doing it. But it is punishing to me because Destiny is a looter shooter and I have spent countless hours playing activities, grinding for gear, and exploring these vast spaces. From simply exploring the arcology on Titan because of the captivating atmosphere and aesthetics, to competing in the day 1 raid races where our builds, game knowledge, and problem solving is put to the test on the grandest scale. And when we finally complete the raid, it's one of the most gratifying feelings ever.
Damage, damage! Damage right now!
Dodge, 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 dodge!
Damage, damage! Damage right now, boys! One shot, let's go!
Let's go!
Get out of here!
Left side! Left side!
Let's fucking go! No, we were minutes. We were minutes. Oh my god.
Let's go, boys! Let's go, boys! Dead in Wordle. Jesus
Fucking
fuck.
stupid ass fucking.
Not to mention the FOMO of cosmetics and old weapons you cannot acquire anymore, because I was there for most of it. I like to give Bungie a lot of flack, but they have built a game that has had a massive impact on my life positively, and it has sentimental value to me. I don't like the idea of potentially being punished even if I'm innocent, and I'm sure many players could echo that sentiment. In conclusion, I merely played the game and got punished for it. That's all I have to say, though, man. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you listening to one of my many rants, and I will post my Steam profile in the description if you would like to see the 74 pages of hate comments I got. I promise you, some of them are actually pretty good, and it's some pretty decent brain rot if you want to get a decent bit of laughter. Otherwise, feel free to comment your thoughts or ask a question, and I will interact with them as soon as I can. Thanks, and I will see y'all in the next one.